and I needed a place to stay that wasn't an hour from where we cooked, which was then an hour from where we stored things. So we reached out. Bennington, Vermont, Scranton, Binghamton, and Altoona. And then we chose Johnstown over Altoona because Johnstown has the commercial kitchen over at the Bootcamp. And I'm telling you, we've never had so much support. It's just been amazing. They're so good. So, okay, pardon the fact that this is like picnic style, but I think you guys will be all right. Good?
That's awesome. Yasmin, you want to say hi to everybody and add
Hello,
anything?
everyone. We are excited to be in Johnstown. And sorry, I just walked in. I just drove in today. So
From
I
Jersey.
just got here. Yeah.
5 hours.
So I'm glad to be here. It's a great place. I love the mountains. Margaret's turned me on to the mountains.
I grew up in the mountains, in the Catskills and the Adirondacks, so that was a big perk. I wouldn't move just for mountains, but I certainly enjoyed it. So we're sitting back now.
Yeah, we can. I wasn't sure.
Say whatever, enjoy your chair. It's fine. There aren't really any rules here.
Okay.
All right, welcome everybody. Today is the AI Bootcamp. Has anyone been using any AI tools? Oh, good. We're going to learn from you. Everybody has learned something, I'm sure, in some ways. And I'm joined with Dr. Mark tomorrow.
Hello, everybody.
You want to give your quick spiel? What's your story? And I'll give mine. And then the good news for you is after you give your spiel, you get to go to the buffet bar. We're going to try stuff. So
There you go.
I imagine people will be lining up in quick order to do so.
Karen, I love it. So my name is Mark Tomorrow. I've had my PhD for about 4 years now. I've taught at IUP, I've taught at Westmoreland County Community College, and right now I teach at UPJ. My focus is digital humanities, which is a blend of math, computer science, and literature. So basically, I write computer software and do calculations to read books for me and then extrapolate data from the results. So the whole idea is that there's trends in books, in language, in people, and culture that we can't tell because we're immersed in it. But when we get bird's eye view, with the help of computers, AI being one of them, there's so much more we can learn. So there's a whole bunch of applications of that I won't bore you with, but I've been in that area for about half a decade now. And then AI came onto the scene and just, well, new focus, so.
But you're doing crazy things like rewriting lost texts.
Oh, the Sophocles project. You guys know who Sophocles was?
Raise your hand.
Any drama fans in
Yes.
here?
Okay.
Awesome, okay, that's more than I get in my classes, so hell yeah. So what I'm doing is Sophocles is famous for 4 primary texts, Antigone, Oedipus and Colonus, Oedipus, and another one that's slipping my mind right now. But we think, according to contemporary historians, that he had over 120 to 140 plays wrote and lost, just burned at the Library of Alexandria or just lost to the mist of history. We have fragmentary portions of them, and we have Sophocles' original voice. So one of my projects is programming an AI bot with Sophocles' writing to complete the plays we don't have full text of. So bringing his writing literally back from the dead. Yeah.
What do you mean by you have his voice?
So sorry, that's a literary term. I'm going to do that a lot.
Oh, okay, but I understand the literary.
So when we say voice, there's a lot of stuff that's bound up in writing that allows us to identify who the author is, right? So you've got things like nomenclature, sentence structure, verbiage, synonymic use, how long their paragraphs are, how often they refer to people in first and third person, all those kinds of things. Those are all measurable trends, and we know them intrinsically, right? We can read something and say, oh, I'm pretty sure blank wrote this. But those things, once we actually put a litmus test to them and measure them, they have all numeric values. And once we know those values, we can put them into an AI and compose something that sounds like it should have sounded if it were from the pen of Sophocles. Not identical, but as close as we'll get without time travel.
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so guess what? You won your opportunity to get in the field.
Hey, all right. Which one was the hottest? I want that one.
Oh.
The two on the end, they're
The two
in heat.
on the end.
The
You know, they
pow-pow.
go from hot to not.
You want the pow-pow pepper sauce and then the pyro powder.
I love spicy.
There's a lot of, pow-pow pepper. It's good.
A lot of alliteration.
I'm already sweating, so.
I'm Mike Harushka. I know or have met many of you. Excited you guys are back here. Last month, we were working on some problems for one of the startups that was in here. And we opened up ChatGPT, which I always do to do stuff. And we started jamming. And at the end, we go around and say, all right, guys, based upon what we did, based upon what we talked about, based upon what we're thinking about today, what's one thing you're going to commit to do before we see you all again? I went around the room and I thought, we should do an AI boot camp. That's really good. So I committed to do an AI boot camp. So today is the AI boot camp. And our goal is to learn about stuff. I'm not going to throw this up on the screen, but you guys know who those people are, right? You see what's in their hand? Punky's soft shells. See what's in their hand? You guys know the Punky soft shell product? Yes. You guys know the Punky soft shell product? These guys have never eaten it, right? This is a complete hack. Think about how funny that is. Right? I don't know that, Mark and I were actually talking about like, can you do this? I don't know, just do it and like get in trouble. Yeah, they got some weird extra knuckles and like so, so today we're gonna talk about AI and stuff, but I also want, and the most important thing about this is it's everyone knowing each other, everyone knowing what you're each working on and helping each other with your purpose and passion. So, what'd you get? Oh, you got a spread.
Oh, I got
Okay,
all
I just want to
Well,
make sure
that
you
was
got
the intention.
No, it's
I'm
good.
Italian, she's Indian. Eat.
All right, so
Mangia, right?
we're going to test the succinct and pithy nature of everyone's communications today. So you have 30 seconds. Who are you? Oh, I know, right? Seriously, who are you? And you can answer any or all of these questions. Who are you? What are you working on? And then what do you want to learn about AI? Jesper, and that means you're first in the food line.
All
And
right.
then you get to pick who goes next.
Okay. Well, I'm Jesper Nielsen, co-owner and CEO of Pearl Nielsen Therapeutic Associates, and we're in the business of empowering people and touching lives, working with mental health and adults with IDD. And we're working to figure out how AI might actually make us even better at serving people, and I'm hoping to learn some different ways, strategies that maybe we can make that happen. So,
I think you should
okay.
just pick me.
I'll
I'm
pick
the
you.
other half.
Well, yeah,
She
because,
wants to go
because
next
if you
in
don't
line.
pick your wife,
Yeah, she wants to go next in
Dot,
line.
dot,
No, but I just think because what you said is perfect, but I'm Amy Nielsen. And yeah, I think what you said is what we're looking to do. I've used AI a little bit, some of the image generation for work and for flyers and things, so. But yeah, we've just talked a lot about how we can implement and what we can do to make some of our processes easier, so.
Can I ask which generators you've used?
I used the Bing image.
Oh,
generation.
Okay.
We've done a little bit of Dolly, we've done ChatGPT, mainly.
Awesome. I'm gonna show you guys Midjourney today. That's what those images were made on, so.
cool. Go to the spice line.
Shane, I'll just go down the line.
That's so
I'm Shane Gavin. I work for Remax Power Associates. I've been there for a little over a year, and I've been doing a lot of like marketing, advertising, working with content creation, working on Adobe platforms. So I got into a little bit of that with the AI with Adobe. Now it's working into Adobe through Photoshop. So I'm just trying to learn anything I can, and I'm just fascinated by the whole thing. So
It's magic, isn't it?
yeah, it's crazy.
All right, you get to pick who goes next then.
I'm Ethan Stewart. I own Cincinnati Financial Group. We do holistic financial planning for individuals and business owners. I'm also working on another brand that I'm branching off of, working with business owners that are looking to exit and sell their business in 0 to 5 years. And then a couple other projects. But I'm interested in AI just for, I don't know, I just think it's the ultimate tool, and those that know how to use the tool well will excel, and those that don't necessarily won't. So I want to, and there's so many applications, it's ridiculous. So it's almost overwhelming how many there are, and so I'm just trying to learn as much as I can.
That means you have to pick who's going, and then you have to go get in the food line. You guys are.
All right. You go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sheree Henderson. I'm a purpose-driven content creator, and I cover events, entertainment, and mindset. And I'm into AI because I like to use it to help me create beautiful artworks. And I ask it for advice sometimes, and the feedback is astounding.
Is it me? Oh, okay. I'm Amy Henson. I am actually between projects. Is that a good thing?
You're the segue.
I'm unemployed. But when I was employed, I was helping small businesses with their business planning, and that's like the thing that small businesses hate to do the most. I had a business for 5 years. I couldn't have written a business plan for myself at that time. So I think it would be a really great tool for that thing that everybody hates to do, that doesn't know how to do it, they don't know how to put it in words. If they could use that to get over that hump, it would really help.
Awesome.
Oh, and I get to pick somebody.
Throw it far.
Jessica
I'll
Clifford.
just throw you.
Jessica Lynn Portraits. I'm intimate portrait photographer. I also do headshots is the other half of the business. So I have a day coming up here in June for that. AI is interesting as all hell. I think it was last night I watched where they put it into a video. And it just seamlessly went onto a video, and you became that person. So I thought that was interesting at how fast it's moving, because like 6 months ago, AI was this like mysterious thing that people were like, what? What's ChatGPT? And now it's just moving like. So I can see it used in my business some. But I can also see it being used for the wrong reasons too.
Oh, there's a lot of nasty things we can do with it. If we were bad actors.
Oh, lots. Yeah. So, anyway, most of that stuff will probably give me migraine, so I'm gonna stay seated. Thank you, though.
Who are you picking?
Toss it back over there.
Okay. I'm Jen Shearer. Me and my husband Stonebridge Brewing, Craft Corner Kitchen, the Wine Loft on Franklin, and Just Sip in a Tap Room in Greensburg, downtown. So I don't know anything about AI, so I guess I'm just here to learn. Oh, I have to pick something.
Did you miss that part?
I did. You know me, like.
Guess it's me then. I'm Todd Bolsoffel. I'm from People First Federal Credit Union. We are targeting Johnstown as our area of expansion. Wanted to come and meet everybody here and start to get integrated into the entrepreneurial community here. I've lived in Johnstown or Somerset County for the entirety of my life, so I'm a country bumpkin, and I simply want to know better what it's going to sound like when our robot overlords overtake us. So that would be a plus. But I also usually need to know something a little bit before I can contextualize how I can use it. So interested in learning it that way. So, and you're wearing orange, so.
All right, awesome. Hello everyone, I'm Seth Mason, founder of the eSport company. And we're creating turnkey esports programming for nonprofits, high schools, colleges, and now amateur teams across the state of Pennsylvania, and hopefully here now the country. So I'm very interested in learning how we can streamline some of our esports broadcasting. We run a lot of live streams and stuff like that for our esport matches between high schools and stuff. So I'm interested in how we can help streamline some of our stuff through that. Cool. Pass on back to you.
Hi, I'm Chris Henson. I am a data analyst I'm employed, but I do a little bit of contracting work on the side for people who need any kind of small business needs in reporting or data work. But I use AI all day long. Played around with DALL-E, ChatGPT, recently toyed with Synthesia, and it blows my mind. Yeah, just active in that area. Happy to be here.
Me? Okay, I'm Paul Ritchie. I'm a statistician. I'm running my website, Allegheny Independent Media. I have my experience with AI, including, I guess everyone's used on their phone. Their phone, which, when you're typing something and it gives you a plausible word for the next word. I guess everyone's used it by now. And I've used, things like expectation maximization algorithms, like when you have missing data in a data set, try to fill it with plausible values. So those things have been around for a while. Yes, I do have some trepidation about AI as well as, the possibilities. So I came here to learn a little bit, and it was weird. I posted something about AI on the website, and then I saw this, and I thought, oh God, I have to come to this. So.
None of you guys got up to get snacks.
Did you miss that part too, Jay? It is delicious. You're missing out.
Won't be snacks. I'm gonna go in for like 6
It
more.
is so good.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
So Paul, yeah, we do have one more. So Paul, I'm glad you brought that up. So we're gonna talk about possibilities. We're gonna talk about tools.
Wendy, you forgot me.
I know. We're gonna talk about tradecraft. The thing we're not gonna talk about today is whether or not to use AI. That's up to you. We're not gonna talk about the ethics of AI. That's up to you and your own internal moral debate. We're just showing you what the edge of possibility is. Because he's doing crazy stuff. I'm doing crazy stuff. We're doing crazier stuff together, and we're like, well, we should come back and kind of tell people like what things look like in the future in some way, and kind of give you a starting point so you can get on that journey if you want to take it.
I'm assuming you left the best for last.
There you go.
I'm Diane Robinson. I'm an investment advisor with IP Financial Advisory Services, and I also own a small computer company. I'm a Microsoft partner, so as you know, Microsoft is big into AI. So when I saw this class, I thought, well, I'm busy. If I can make things shorter, learning things, then I might as well take the class.
Yeah, that's where one of the biggest opportunities lies is in efficiency. I mean, just across the board, whether you're planning logistics or detailing a schedule or something like that, the assistance that you will get from just that alone is mind-boggling, and that's without any customization, right? Because everything we're going to show today is factory standard, right? This is the stock basic, haven't logged in, haven't customized anything version. There are obviously versions of most of this stuff that's behind massive paywalls, but once you have access to it, you can customize it to your needs. I mean, what we're going to show you today is like, okay, cool. Once you get into that world, I mean, it's just, the sky just explodes, right? So there's so much more available.
Yeah, we could kill you with technical architecture and like IT tornadoes. We're not gonna do that. We're just gonna talk about like some simple things like what is AI, what can it do for you, what can it do for you? I don't know how long that list is.
What is good, less PNP, so what it's good and good at.
Not the travel salesman problem.
Oh, I guess we can use that one too. I'll let you do that.
No, we won't. We'll skip that. So there's some big tools that are out there. You guys have all heard of ChatGPT, so we're gonna play with that today. We're gonna take a look at Mid-Journey.
Here's ChatGPT.
Are we gonna use Wisdom?
Yes, I have
Okay,
that
so we
as
use
well.
Wisdom, W-I-Z-D-O-M. And then just for you, for your own sanity's sake, if you search AI Daddy 600 tools, you will find a living Google sheet of all the emerging tools to do anything you possibly do with AI. So that's
Please
kind of
feel free to log on with this guy here if you want to follow along on phones or what. I think most of you guys have a password already, but yeah, please feel free to do what we're doing while we're doing it.
AI Daddy 600 tools. You guys search that.
Say that again.
AI Daddy.
Oh, sure. Here, use mine. Yeah, absolutely.
AI Daddy
Ignore the
600
scribbles in the
tools.
front.
All of it, from like email summarization to image editing, image color correction, all those things, writing, email, blah, blah, blah. It's all there in those 600 tools. So you might have heard about ChatGPT and a couple other things. but there's 600 more species behind that in terms of technology that you can wield as interns for you. Because that's all AI is. It's a very happy, motivated intern. You have to tell it what to do, and if you can't tell it what to do well, it will only do so well. If you really, really know how to do that, and we're gonna teach you guys some tricks and some tradecraft on that, it will do things that are miraculous for you.
I wanna, before we actually get into it, I wanna give all of you guys a kudos and tell you all to pat yourselves on the back. Because this is just something I've run across, you know, just through studying literature, studying people and teaching. Arthur C. Clarke, famous science fiction writer, he basically has this really famous quote that kind of guides sci-fi. And it basically says, there's no sufficiently advanced technology that's indistinguishable from magic, right? So the further away from us it is, the more mystical it seems. The first step to figuring that out is learning about it, contextualizing it. And that's what you guys are all doing here. And that's worthy of a kudos, right? Because there's a lot of people who go, oh, AI, I don't understand that, you know? Maybe I'll learn about it in 20 years. And you guys are not doing that. You are here taking the bull by the horns, and that's laudable. So please, seriously, kudos. Because I have, again, sorry students, I know you're not in the room, but they don't do that, so.
Yeah, you guys are self-motivated. No one told you to be here. With the exception of me telling Margaret, you should come.
Mike,
Maybe probably if you go
ChatGPT first? Okay.
Oops, that's right.
Sorry. We'll get to that one. That one's fine. All right, so ChatGPT, you guys are probably most familiar with this one. This is the one that kind of exploded the industry boom. This is an AI version of something called an LLM, or a large language model. You don't need to know the specifics. All that you do need to know is that it basically scans its entire database of information. In this case, it was trained on most of the internet, specifically the New York Times, Reddit, and Wikipedia. Those are the big three. And then it takes the most probable word from that iteration and then completes it into the next word. So if I write, I am going to the blank, complete that sentence for me.
I'm going to the store.
There you go, that's what ChatGPT does. Seriously, that's all it does for every single word. Iteration. So that's one big misnomer I want to dispel right away. Artificial intelligence is not intelligence, right? It's not the way we think of as intelligence. That's a big, bound up conversation that talks about things like ingenuity and creativity and ethics and morals and standards and self-actualization. We're not dealing with any of that, right? None of that is relevant to what we want to talk about. The thing that matters is the fact that it can cognate what word should come next in a sentence. That's what the large language model does. So don't make the mistake of assuming you're talking to a sentient thing here. It's not that. It's not surely complete, but I won't go there. So let's talk to ChatGPT. Easiest way to get to this is just Google ChatGPT. It's the first link. Here's the direct link, chatopenai.com. I am currently logged in as me, but you can create a free account, which is what I have. There is also a ChatGPT Plus account, excuse me, which gives you access to more stuff. But for demo purposes, this one is pretty suitable. So, what should we talk about?
I'll throw out some ideas.
Yeah.
Just because I know that it does certain things, and I know probably most of you have a challenge related to marketing. It's kind of low-hanging fruit. How do I communicate? I'm doing something, I know what I'm doing. How do I communicate that to other people? So there's marketing, there's website, there's brochure, there's taglines, you know, there's all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so, oh yeah, go ahead.
Prompt engineering. That's one of my things is like, how do you effectively give the instructions to a super engineer or intern?
Okay, so let
me throw this out there. Let's assume that
Start working out.
Sure, yeah.
I wanna start-
I want to start working out.
and eating.
And eating better.
And eating right.
Yeah, sure.
And being nicer to my neighbors.
Oh,
So this is an example of a constrained GPT-4 model where he's designed to talk to you about certain things only in certain ways and not to talk to you about other stuff. Of course, while he's training, I use Mr. GPT every morning. I put in what my goals are for the day and watch Clubber Lang and I meditate for a second. And then he comes up and I know it's gonna be slow. We've been getting hammered on this recently. I've dropped this to too many places and people are like hammering it. It's not like full infrastructure deployment yet.
So it always gives you a little bit of video then?
Well, it just plays that while the information that was put in there was sent to ChatGPT and then is going through the filters that we have to turn it into what this is. You should probably read this on your own.
Now, if there was a button,
You scroll
you
down,
could
you
read it in
scroll.
voice.
Well, so that's next version. You'll
Okay.
just be able to talk to him, and he'll just be able to talk to you. So you guys can read that, and that is coming from ChatGPT. So I want to note that.
What if
Now
you
get-
put something ludicrous in, like, how do I become a supermodel?
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's see.
Is it gonna ask me, are you 20 and 5'10"?
I don't know. That's a boundary condition that I don't know how Mr. GPT's going to respond to it. So I'm not
I
responsible
love
for
this,
Mr.
by the
GPT's
way.
response. Clubber's going to train for a while.
So is this something you're just sharing with people you know, or is this something on the internet?
This is on the internet, but I'm sharing it with people that I know and using an example for training something to do something, to not to do something, to have this attitude, to not have this attitude.
Because I've got a whole bunch of groups that I could share this with that love AI.
Share it, feel free. Share it, it's great. It's just not in like full production mode, so it takes a little bit of time. But if you're like, I'm gonna put something in before I brush my teeth, and then you sit it down, you brush your teeth, and you come back, you will laugh hysterically every single freaking day. I guarantee you, because I do.
I'm loving it.
All right, here we go.
Portfolio mode.
Can you read some of it out loud? I can't.
Get yourself in shape. You wanna be a supermodel, you better get your ass in the gym, start doing weights, doing cardio and body weight exercise. Get your body looking and feel the best it can. Sign with an agency, diet and nutrition, portfolio, motherfucker. Like, look, that's Mr. GPT, that's not me. I'm just an unfortunate narrator. That's experience Saturday. Work on your walk.
I like that one.
That's a good, that's a
Yeah,
good.
supermodel knows how to strut down the runway like a boss.
So, but like, so you see the language that's already been coming from it. When you constrain it and you kind of tune it a little bit, it'll do some pretty cool things.
This is something I gotta throw out there, because I feel like it doesn't need to be said, but it kind of does, because a lot of people forget this part when they're looking at it. You are free to edit any of this, right? A lot of people, when they look at this tech, after they get the output, they go, oh, cool, I'll use that. But they don't take time and say, is this exactly what I want? You're the ultimate editor, right? It's your text. So if I like, oh, this is funny, I think this would make a cute media opportunity, but I don't want to use profanity, zing, gone, right? So don't feel like you have to copy and paste the results from any of this wholesale. It is always you who has the final say as to what comes out the other end. Feel free to mix and match, edit, yeah, however you want to do it. This is better thought of as a collaborator than a generator.
Just to go back to what you were saying about the voice earlier too.
Yeah.
Does it have the ability to kind of mimic, for instance, you know, I just asked it, because I'm just playing around here, to give me a plot summation for a surrealist film. Just to see how weird it can get. Would you be able to say, you know, give me something in the voice of Stephen King or Anne Rice, or can it mimic in that manner?
So to really get it correct, you would need a model that's based on like David Lynch or something, right? It would have to be exactly like that to use his verbiage, vocabulary, sentence structure, dialogue choices, all of that. I have tried this before with Ralph Waldo Emerson, actually. I've tried to get it to act like him, and every single time I was like, you know, you are Ralph Waldo Emerson, describe this tree. And the description was, as Ralph Waldo Emerson, this is a red oak tree. So, not so good at that, but there are some that it is particularly good at. For example, anybody who has a lot of content online, and I think the best example that's floating around out there is Joe Rogan. If you ask it to write a joke in like the style of Joe Rogan or Mitch Hedberg or somebody like that, right, pretty good at that.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Since it is
You
drawn
could-
from those as sources,
Correct.
that's what it would mimic.
You can't do it out of the box, but I have a consortium of New York Times bestsellers that we're taking all of their books, all the podcasts they've been on, all their writings, and training a private language model that is their model. They're using that private language model to talk to ideate, have debate with, red team, and ghostwrite for them. So you can do it But you gotta do it constrained and outside of what is publicly available in order to nail it. And the results we're getting back from them are like, well, the first one we did, we trained it on authors' 8 books. And we showed him, and we asked the questions, and it gave responses, and he was like freaked out and almost in tears. Because he's like 70 and an AI futurist, and said, I didn't think this would come in my lifetime, but holy shit.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, I just wanna see if I understand. To get those kind of answers, we could do that just on regular Chat GPT. To get them in the voice of Mr. T there.
It's difficult, but we can try. So I'll try it right here and you'll see the difference right away. It's not gonna sound as good, but it's gonna do its best. So
So we might get the
Yeah, so this is only,
gist, but not the personality.
this has so much signal, it's so huge, but there's a lot of noise in that signal. When you do the things that I'm talking about that we're doing, we're constraining it down to Samuel L. Jackson, Mr. T, David Goggins, Marine Corps drill instructor, and that's the filter for whatever comes out, automatically goes through that filter to get the appropriate context.
Cool.
So here we go. Basically, this is what I told it. You are mimicking Mr. T. Please give all your responses as if they were dialogue phrases by Mr. T. And then ask it the same question we asked Mr. GPT, which is, give me information on how to lose weight. So you'll notice right away it's not going to be anywhere near as good. But it still has text, right?
I've been in it before.
But then the rest of this is
Yeah,
is basically just you got
First
it.
phrase, yeah.
It-
With sprinkles.
Yeah.
The other stuff is
Yeah.
built on sprinkles, the character.
It uses full, it uses jibber jabber, that kind of thing, yeah.
So it seems like a prompt engineer, and maybe we'll get this, but this is my question. It seems like prompt engineering has some consistency across the different AI platforms. Are there like 3 or a handful of prompt engineering principles that you would say when approaching the different AIs to utilize?
Yes. You know what? This is actually a great time to segue into Midjourney,
Okay.
because there's a couple that are really useful there. I would say the #1 thing to remember whenever you're doing some kind of structure, whether it's ChatGPT, Midjourney, whatever, ask it for exactly what you want. Don't assume that it can read the context of the conversation.
Like specific to that.
Yeah, as specific as humanly possible.
Okay,
right?
that was gonna be my question, is there a limit to how,
How specific you can
like,
get.
so if I use my example of how to, to write a business plan, it would have to be a business that does this, that makes this, that this is the cost, this is the.
Yes, you cannot be too
You can give it this much information.
a paragraph or 2. And actually, that's what I'm gonna do here when I show you
Okay.
guys, because it's gonna, this is an image generator. This is Midjourney. Before I get into what this does anybody here have a Discord? You guys know what Discord is?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right, so most of you guys are familiar. Discord is a messaging app. It's free to get. It's free to sign up for. This is the only thing that Midjourney is currently available for. I think they're working to put it into other stuff, but at the moment, this is the only place you can get it. You do have to sign up for it. This is the actual Discord server. You can use it on their server. What I did is created my own server that I'm admin on, and then just installed the bot on there. That is also free. So now I can create images without anybody else seeing them. So here's how it works. Prompt engineering is effectively the same. It has a tagline, /imagine, and then you start by telling it exactly what picture you want. So, what picture do you want?
So you have to type in /imagine or?
Yes, so because Discord's a messaging app, I could just write anything at all, and it would just post as a message. But if I want to invoke the bot, the /imagine is like the key phrase that says, everything that comes next are instructions to the bot. Yeah.
So this that you typed in about the elf girl, and these
Oh,
are the,
sorry, that was a D&D campaign.
okay,
Yes,
but
I'm a
these
D&D.
pictures that it came up with, these are, I'm new to all this, so I apologize if this is basic. It makes these pictures, or it finds these pictures?
Makes.
Okay.
So you know how the large language models go word by word and select the next word?
Yeah.
These go pixel by pixel and select the next pixel. It composites an image based on other people's work and what's available online into a pastiche of.
Okay, so that's how you got Samuel Jackson,
eating pumpkin soft shells.
Yeah, I got an image.
Okay.
Vladimir Putin riding a bear, going against Biden on a dinosaur, having a lightsaber fight on the back.
Oh, I just would
That
have
sounds like a
I would have just
political
picked
cartoon.
Putin versus Biden Segway jousting.
Yeah, I was thinking jousting too. I was like, what else?
Really? You were thinking jousting?
Yeah, I was thinking jousting.
So this is going to be a little slow because the internet here isn't terribly fast, but we'll get there. Basically what this is going to do is right now it is scouring the internet for pastiches and pieces of the text, the image that we're looking for. And anything that's tagged that way, or that its neural net recognizes as a similar image, it's going to grab a piece of that, take its pixel and color information, take it back to the bot, and then start pastiching them together. We're about 31% of the way done here. It'll take a moment, but we are slowly bringing it down. Now, one thing you're going to notice right away is that the language processing on
Start working out.
Let's sure, yeah.
I wanna start-
I wanna start working out.
And eating.
And eating better.
And eating right.
Yeah, sure.
And being nicer to my neighbors.
Oh,
So this is an example of a constrained GPT-4 model where he's designed to talk to you about certain things only in certain ways and not to talk to you about other stuff. Of course, while he's training, I use Mr. GPT every morning. I put in what my goals are for the day and watch Clubber Lang and I meditate for a second. And then he comes up and I know it's gonna be slow. We've been getting hammered on this recently. I've dropped this to too many places and people are like hammering it. It's not like full infrastructure deployment yet.
So it always gives you a little bit of yield then?
Well, it just plays that while the information that was put in there was sent to ChatGPT and then is going through the filters that we have to turn it into what it says. You should probably read this on your own.
Now, if there was a button,
You scroll down.
you could read it.
No. Well, so that's next version. You'll
Okay.
just be able to talk to him and he'll just be able to talk to you. So you guys can read that and that is coming from ChatGPT. So I want to note that.
What if
Now
you
get-
put something ludicrous in, like, how do I become a supermodel? Oh, yeah.
Well, let's see.
Is it gonna ask me, are you 20 and 5'10"?
I don't know. That's a boundary condition that I don't know how Mr. GPT's gonna respond to it. So I'm not
I
responsible
love
for
this,
Mr.
by the
GPT's
way.
response. Clubber's gonna train for a while.
So is this something you're just sharing with people you know, or is this something on the internet?
This is on the internet, but I'm sharing it with people that I know and using an example for training something to do something, to not to do something, to have this attitude, to not have this attitude.
Because I've got a whole bunch of groups that I could share this with that involve AI.
Share it. Feel free. Share it.
And this is significantly worse than the one on ChatGPT. So the subject of the text is the first thing I put in, right? As opposed to ChatGPT, which is able to coalesce the entire prompt into one. So did I get the combat I wanted? I did not. I got Putin riding a bear? I guess he's riding a bear in this one. And there you go.
Against another bear.
Yeah. So if we want something, this is where the prompt engineering becomes particularly handy.
So you say going against. So going against seems like ambiguous, right? One-on-one, head-on battle.
Riding a bear.
In a head, it's
Jousting. Just do jousting. Jousting.
Head-to-head battle.
Jousting.
I like this a little bit.
Battle with.
It does.
Riding
What's
a T-Rex.
In a jousting battle with what? Or just jousting?
All right, so now that first line before I hit go, this is the subject of the image, right? This is going to be the content. I can continue to add information to this as much as I want. So what we got here is some pretty run-of-the-mill generic fantasy art, right? Let's say we wanted, I don't know, how about a pencil sketch? We wanted 4K.
In Antarctica?
Antarctica. Now, this isn't, again, recognition on here isn't as robust as ChatGPT, so we're gonna get a few hands, right? So Antarctica, snow, ice, cold, blue, Arctic, why not? So I don't know which of these terms the AI is going to hit on, but I do know a pastiche of all of them is going to give it more of a chance to get me the image that I'm actually looking for. Is there an art style you guys want to see? We have like Impressionist fans or?
Realistic.
Realistic, okay. So
Realistic
let's do
pencil sketch.
Realistic.
I don't have pencil sketch, so.
Let's do fine art. Let's do high art. Ultra realism. And there's one more code I'm going to put in here, which is specific to the engine. It's --V4. That basically tells it I want to use the 4th iteration of the Midjourney engine. Now let's see what we get.
What server should I be searching for this?
Oh, just Midjourney, the Midjourney server. Now, one nice thing about this is even if it's nowhere near what we want, there are a few controls that I can use to modify it, and I'll show you guys those in one sec here. Looks like we don't have our T-Rex, but we do have our bear. Bear dog. Something from Star Wars. There you go.
Oh, well, there's some dinosaurs.
It kind of merged the dinosaur with a polar bear.
Dino bear.
Dino bear. There's some weirdness going on in this one with this foot. Not sure what happened there. But yeah, kind of an interesting thing to look at. Now we certainly got a pencil sketch. We got more of a realism kind of vibe going on here. Let's, you know what? I don't like any of these. Let me click this reroll button and see what we get for the next one. You can do that as many times as you want. You can either edit the prompt and retry, or you can click this little guy and just re-roll it every single time. Let's see if it's a little better the second time through.
So is there a way if you don't like the way the dinosaur looks, for example, is there a way to hone it down further or no?
Unfortunately not. Okay. This one, because GPT remembers the input, this one is, every time you do it, it's going to be a new prompt, Some of these are a little interesting.
Yeah.
Now let's say, which one do you guys like? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
What's up with 2? It looks like he has 2 legs, or 2 left legs, or 2 right legs.
I like 3.
Like 3? All right, so this V3 will take image 3 and give us some slight variations on image 3. So we can kind of tweak it and make sure that it's exactly what we're looking for here. The U, by the way, that one takes a while, so I'm not going to do it, but that's the upscale. That'll bring it all the way up to 1080 so that you can post it, or it'll be high-res imaging. But there you go, there's your variations. Notice it changed the item he's holding from some kind of wand to a spear. We have a smiling bear versus a snarling bear. All the bears have hooves for some reason. That's interesting. There you go, so there's your high-res pencil sketch. Let's do another. Let's do something related to one of your guys' businesses. Who wants some art for promotion material or a logo design?
Do you have, now, can you just tell it our product name and it'll bring up our images, or do we have to feed them in?
You will not only have to feed it in, you'll have to be specific about exactly what you're putting in. Because this does not have access to a pre-trained database like GPT does. Everything you tell it is what it's going to produce, which is why you have to be hyper-specific about it. So if you're looking, this is why I mentioned this for prompt engineering, if you're looking to train that skill set, this is the place to do it, because even a tiny tweak will throw everything off in a way you may not expect.
It's much less predictable.
Yes.
I have to choose a logo.
Okay.
A logo for content creators.
You gotta be super specific. What's it,
more words?
Yeah.
Purpose-driven content creators?
Like literally what you want. You want a cell phone, a camera, a volcano, like exactly what are you looking for?
You gotta pick the art.
You gotta be specific about it, yeah.
In the style of a 90s NBA's logo.
All right, so let's start with
the style of 90s NBA logo.
So icons like music notes, marketing.
All right, so the first thing I put on here was clean background, white background, which is gonna give me 0 background.
Okay.
So I can crop it, copy it, paste it in Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, so you want to do music notes, what sort? Are they like coming out of a record? Are they falling out of a cloud? Like, how do they look like?
Coming out of a record.
Exploding, flying, exploding?
Uh-huh.
A CD, a vinyl?
A vinyl.
Okay.
Stage lights flashing.
And what's the words? Or you just want a logo? Not words, tag.
Oh, I
no
should
words.
mention that, yeah. You know what? I hope this generates words. This thing cannot generate words.
Okay.
It can, but it doesn't, because it doesn't compose text, it composes pixels. So the text you get is going to be a picture of other words. So it's going to look like text, it will not be readable. So that's one thing you'll have to adjust, yeah. What sort of art style do you want? Do you want to mimic like a classic artist or advertising campaign of some kind?
Realistic.
Realistic. So who said somebody from 1970s? What did you say? 1970s?
I said 1978.
Oh, 1978 team. I just grabbed the URL for this Bulls logo. As, I don't know, Picasso.
Oh my God.
Because this will allow upscales and linking as well. So if you have a picture of you that you want to, you know, oh, I want this to look like Monet painted it. You can do that, you know, or I want this to look like it was taken with a Kodak camera. You can do that, right? So you can modify and tweak already live hosted images using this guy. That was a mistake on my part. Sorry, guys.
It's perfect.
I think the upper right one is interesting.
I mean, they got the cubism right, but.
It's pretty awesome. I kind of want that painting in my house.
Right.
Ask him to do things with
The upper left guy looks like the guy from Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom.
But yeah, so if you want to appear in your own marketing materials with, you know, crazy filters and that kind of thing, you don't need to Photoshop them anymore. You put them in here and say, make me look like blank, and then I'll do it for you.
You've got to put your photos
Yeah,
up on a
so
URL.
see how
that you
this
can point to.
prompt was actually a link to the image I wanted to use? All I did was grab the Bulls logo from Wikipedia. Right here, I just hit right click, copy image address, and then went back here and pasted it and said, this thing, as if it was named after us.
Would you mind just going to our website? I'm just super curious to see what it would do. If it
What's
goes
your,
to
you want to put you on Mount Everest?
spicesisters.com.
Okay.
So
You
we
wanna put
just
one of
have
your
a few
products?
pictures up there.
All right.
If you go down a little, there's those few, and then there's
These
one of
pictures here?
if you go down a little more, there's the two of us. And I don't know, Margaret wants to do it in Van Gogh.
Oh, there you
Sorry.
go.
I'd like to see how Van Gogh would have done that.
Van Gogh, and where do you want to be?
Where do we want to be?
Calcutta.
You want to go to England all the time.
Oh yeah, England. Put us on the what do you call it, bridge?
London?
London Bridge.
The Tower
Yeah, put us in the Tower of London.
The Tower Bridge.
Oh, okay. But London Bridge, Tower Bridge, yeah.
Background.
That's where they used to send all Henry's wives before their.
All right, I'm not sure how well it's gonna do with the background, but it should be able to get the image okay. Let's see what this gets us.
And this is the punky soft shell stuff I showed you. They were pointing at this picture of this celebrity, transition this, put this in their hands, do this in this background.
So the one that does video is a different program? Like if we.
There's a couple, yeah.
I'm thinking we could generate some cooking video right, that way, or not?
You can, I haven't found the best one for that. I found ones that will take video, like an 8-minute piece of video, and summarize it to like your shorts for you.
Oh.
And take
No.
Take a
It'll do
long
that?
format video, and then that's in landscape, and some of it the portrait, so you can use it on TikTok.
Oh, that's
things like
good
that.
too.
So video transition, if you search AI Daddy 600 tools, all of these are in there.
So how was your trip to London?
What do you think?
Can you make it bigger? I can't see it.
Which one do you like?
I can't really see it that well, so whichever one you like.
I'm kind of a fan of number 3
I was
myself.
gonna say do 3, yeah.
Scale 3.
We'll pick for you, we're closer.
Oh.
I was just starting. Don't worry. It's still processing. Yeah, that's technically how it always starts, because it actually builds in layers. So you see each layer as it composes them, because it goes by on a whole bunch of passes.
It's so medieval.
Yeah. Not particularly flattering.
Pretty sure it's the backdrop of London.
Bright, dreary, kind of.
I like the London part. And that it really looks like Van Gogh painted the London Bridge, but
We're being vain.
I had no idea it was quite so vain. That is so cool. That is so cool.
All right, last one that I wanted to show off to you guys doesn't really have the wow factor, but boy, is it logistically handy. And that's this one, wisdom.ai. Now, this one is a research assistant. So this one isn't going to come out the other end with the fun stuff that like Midjourney will, or the text generation that GPT does. But this one works best when cross-referenced with other stuff. So I use it in an academic sense, but you guys can use it especially if you're looking for patents, if you're looking for people to network with. So let's search for something nice and broad. What's that?
People to network with.
In what industry?
Coaching.
Coaching. So, what this does is actually, it's just like Google. It has web crawlers that go across the internet and find information and grab it, pull it back together. But this one organizes it by AI algorithm. There's several neural nets working behind the scenes here, which actually will give you more information than you can from a Google search alone, and it aggregates it in a much more simple way. So here's our topic, coaching, and here we go. Now, the important thing to remember about this tool is it's not going to give you the data-driven results, right? It's not going to link you to pages like Google does. You have to use Google for that. But this will give you an excellent overview of everything you might need to know about the industry. Say if you're planning an expansion, for example, or if you're looking to hire, all of that information can be found here. So let's go through some of the things you have. Here's publications on coaching. Here's how many people were citing it. Here's where the research is being done globally. Here's who's doing it. Here's where those people work. Here's what topics they're researching. Here's how much money they got. Here's who gave them the money. Here's the journals it's in. Here's who published those journals. And on and on and on. By the way, this is just tab 1. Look at this. Look at all of this info we have up here. Here's our subject area. So here's everything that people are looking at and relating to coaching. But you know what? This isn't really what I want. Let's see what the industry looked like back in 2006.
Oh, wow.
And now we can actually even go back in time and see what trends are over time and what's starting to develop and kind of come about. Oh wait, there's more. Here's specific contact information for the researchers. Now, here are the actual individuals. So you can click on each one and see what they published and where they published. I didn't log into this, but you can get a premium account and log in that will give you the LinkedIn info for all these people.
Wow.
So if you want to network with any of them, you can do that right through here.
Will this, I'm sorry, whatever it is. Will it, yeah, I'm just thinking, like Mintel with all the research information. Will this do like that sort of research and give
That one I'm
you
not
all
familiar
this,
with.
or
Mintel is like
for products?
CPG products, like consumer packaged goods,
So it gives you all this data.
But it does for all these different products.
Mm.
It'll tell you trends, it'll tell you pricing, it'll tell you where it sits on a shelf in a grocery store. Will that do any of that?
The premium version does some of it. I don't think it has access to things like, you know, who has a contract with whom and where they're located, but it will tell you who's responsible for getting that information.
2 years, it will know.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
It'll know everything in 2 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, this is.
Or less.
This is
Yeah.
the current day version of this, so I don't know where it's.
Pretty darn impressive, okay?
Okay, so you teach this
Yes.
at a
this is-
university?
Mhm, At UPJ.
At UPJ. So if somebody, for example, needed to take a class to process this, or to maybe to do some like examples, you know, just more in depth. I don't know how that works. Like, does UPJ offer like?
Oh, are you looking for?
Like more, to learn more?
So there's a couple things there.
Because this is like an overview, but yeah. it's
We
too much.
do, from time to time, we actually do like tech symposiums that are a lot like this,
Uh-huh.
where basically you just kind of sit down and say, hey guys, here's all the news and notes from the tech world. And then we just kind of walk through what's there and what's available. We haven't done one in a while, not since October.
Okay.
A colleague of mine and I did one on video games, actually.
Oh.
But we do those from time to time. If you're asking, are there any?
Yeah.
My
I just feel like I
question
need to
is-
seek out some more.
Some more info.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy to work with you on that, yeah, because if there's interest, then trust me, I would love to go back to my bosses and say, hey, we got this cool thing brewing, I've got all these local business owners fascinated, what
Yeah.
do you think about X, Y, and Z? Let's talk after.
Okay, great.
But yeah, I would definitely like to set something up like that. Quick straw poll, who else would be interested in doing? Okay then, didn't even have to finish the
Thanks.
All right,
question.
GFGI, let's see if we can do it.
Great question.
Awesome, oh, that's awesome, okay. I'm glad you guys are on board because Mike and I are all in on this stuff. So.
And this is 3 of like 600.
Like, these are the
thing, it's
students
just so much.
that you wish you had.
That is true, yeah.
Motivated.
Because I know they
interested.
got people on their phone who are testing the software, not on Instagram, so. I'm kidding, go ahead.
All right, the elephant in the room though. You're the educator, you're at the university level. Why do I not bail on college isn't even gonna exist in 10 years? I'm gonna go spend my daughter's college fund on getting them trained up on this now because it's not even gonna exist. My job's not gonna exist in 10 years, neither is the teachers. This is where we're going. Tell me what your thoughts are on that.
I would say.
Sit up here for this one. Go
So there's actually 2 answers to that question, and I'll give them to you in order of what I believe. So I was at a conference early in April where they were discussing this various thing about how much a job field is at risk of takeover from AI. And there was basically a huge graph that went from like not gonna happen, things like, you know, trades, right? Bricklayer, garbage guy, that kind of thing. All the way up to the higher end where you would have, you know, humanities trades, literally what I do, right? Author, editor, lawyer was up there, that kind of thing. So whether or not you believe that, the net, by the way, was exactly 0. For every job that's lost, another job somewhere else is gained. So you can compare it to the old school problem of, you know, all the people, like Mike likes to say, nobody makes whips for buggies anymore, right? They all moved on to make car engines. So I don't think industries are gonna evaporate overnight. Obviously, things are gonna change and mutate and evolve, but I don't think it's gonna be the cataclysm that people are expecting. That's number 1. When it comes to education, this is what I've always believed. I don't think there's any substitute for human education. We thought the same thing about AI that we did about social media and smartphones and Google and the internet. And you know, over and over and over again, you've had those iterations of this tech is going to be the new blank, and then eventually, ultimately, it's proven wrong. Is that gonna happen this time? I can't say for sure, but if we're looking back on like the track record and iterations of this, I don't think you can have a successful, and this is just my opinion, educational experience without a human in the group. But that's not to say that, you know, I don't want to be a Luddite about it either, right? Because this stuff is here and people need to know how to use it, right? So, sorry to sit on the fence, but yeah, that's fine.
It's everybody's opinion and perspectives, right?
It's coming fast. If you go back a little bit in time, there was a book written called The End of School. by Zach Slayback, New York Times bestseller. Zach Slayback is actually from Somerset, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know that, I highly recommend, if you want to forecast the future, you got to go back a little bit in time. I highly recommend reading The End of School. This just accelerates that further. But are jobs going to disappear? Yeah. Will new jobs come out? Yeah, at the end of the day. I just read a really good research paper that they used ChatGPT to interrogate ChatGPT, but they looked at the Department of Labor, employment, and competency standards to see which competencies in all of the Department of Labor employment libraries would be impacted the most. And so they're estimating that 50% of the tasks of 20% of jobs in the United States will be directly affected. What that doesn't tell you is what population has those jobs and those tasks in their jobs. So there's going to be a significant shift. But if you rewind back even further, what do kids need to know? And so I've been polling people on this for like 5 months. Creativity and resiliency, and curiosity. Those are the 3 big things. So independent of what the world is like, if they're creative and resilient and they're curious, probably gonna be just fine.
Yeah. Agreed, 100%. There's a disconnect between teaching skills and teaching mindsets, I think, that needs to be kind of addressed, especially in my industry, right? Because we're so interested in drilling in the information that we forget how to teach someone to find the information. And ultimately, I personally believe that's a much more critical skill, you know, but is, the common argument I hear is that, you know, ChatGPT, for example, is gonna destroy writing as we know it. That's not gonna happen because the calculator didn't destroy math, you know, the color photography didn't destroy painting, you know, so it's just the next step in the line, and we gotta live with it, of course, which, I mean, I love living in a sci-fi universe.
Seriously, so one plug, because I like science fiction movies, but I also like science future movies. If you want to see something that's really good, it was produced recently, it was filmed during the pandemic, watch The Artifice Girl. Has anyone seen The Artifice Girl? No. Good, ARTIFICE Girl. It's kind of like a science fiction about AI and a science future, and involves some very interesting, controversial subjects. You'll find it interesting to see how they frame like past to present to future that happens in some ways.
I mentioned this quickly, just to match up with our discussion at the end of ChatGPT, because we were talking about patents. But this will find you who owns the patent on the tech and the ideas. So if you want to reach out to any of them, or I guess their legal teams, this will tell you who you need to talk to about how to go about getting it. So yeah.
And one last question really quick. Can you interplay different AIs? Like, for example, can you do ChatGPT come up with, like, prompt it to come up with a prompt for, like, Mid-Journey to create a certain thing that you wanted to? Or,
Absolutely.
like, ChatGPT to come up with a prompt to be able to create a social media post through social media specialized AI or something like that?
100%. One of my students actually did that in my DH class. What he did was he created a website that allowed you to put in a movie quote. And then ChatGPT would interpolate that movie quote and describe what was happening in the scene, and then pass that off to DALL-E 2 that would then illustrate it for you. So you could basically get an illustration of a movie quote by doing it in that context.
You can add, and you can ask it for art prompts as well. The other side of that too is we're doing things where we're taking a problem and saying, run it on ChatGPT, run it on Llama, run on these 2 other models. Then one of the AIs harmonizes the results, then that turns into the prompt that you get. So, and then you can balance in between them and tune.
Why is radar displaying the related topics for coaching?
I don't know.
What am I missing?
I don't know why HTML5 video is, but.
ChatGPT is trained on old information. It doesn't go straight to the internet now.
Correct.
Is there a model that does actually go crawl the web now?
That's the AutoGPT, yes.
That's the only one so far that.
There are other ones. I wouldn't be the right person to tell you exactly which one.
In the development journey, OpenAI had GPT-1 and 2. Those are the old, terrible ones that nobody uses anymore. All they were used for was to generate spam emails, which is why the grammar was always wrong. Those were the original ones. GPT-3 was the one that really made headway. That was released about 3 years ago. From there, it went to GPT 3.5 and then 3.5 Turbo. That's ChatGPT. It's built on 3.5 Turbo architecture with additional training data. GPT-4 is the one that's kind of behind a bunch of paywalls. That's the one that they were demoing back in March, and he was having to do his taxes and stuff. So that one is still publicly inaccessible without a development key. But does that one bow out to the internet? No, because they're worried about recursion, which is a big problem I'm not going to get into. It's a safeguard, let me leave it at that. So.
Is there any advantage to using the paid for the Plus GPT?
Yes, absolutely.
Is it just because I've read that like it's just like if you're having trouble accessing it or generating the response, it's supposed to be faster. I've never really had a problem with that. So like, what are some of the like other advantages to using it or to purchasing it?
I haven't seen any difference in completion. Have you, Mike?
No, it's availability and access.
Yeah.
That's kind of the number one thing, and it depends on the complexity, of things that you're building as well. Like building things that have like 40 context setting queries, and asking and confirming that it understands before we actually do the work.
Yeah.
And so like you can't, in an application scenario, if I had like a metahuman that was your coach and was talking to you and interrogating you about your business and problem you're trying to solve in your business, you couldn't do that with that. It seems inhuman. But with the metahuman and all that in the background, I can be running all kinds of things in the background while I'm just talking to you, and I go, oh, by the way, the thing we talked about earlier, let me tell you about that.
So this was a big thing that I just completely skipped over, but I should address it. You can use ChatGPT to write computer code. So this was me asking it for a Python script to basically just install, I wanted to test it to install a query engine for it. I said, write me a Python code to do this, and it did exactly that. The GPT Plus gives access to a different neural net engine, which is a code completion engine, which does this, but better. It makes less mistakes, the code is less lines, that kind of stuff. So on that level, on that hyper granular level, the paid version is great for that. But again, if you're looking to brainstorm some ideas for a shop or something, maybe not necessary. But yeah.
So you could use it in a sense to write a whole term paper for you, or?
Yes, but that's where my students always mess up, because they say, write me a paper about blank, and it writes up the world's most generic paper. There is a running joke in our department that ChatGPT writes like a student who didn't do the reading, because that's all you get, is the most generic, run-of-the-mill, basic stuff. But yes, can students do that? 100%. Have they? Also equally 100%.
But if they took the paper, each individual paper, and took the text from that and said, learn, and then pasted the text for all the research in that they wanted the paper to be based on, then asked it to rate it,
It would be a lot better.
it would be a lot
Again,
better.
that's kind of the problem, right? If they're not feeding it enough information and telling it even prompts, then it's not going to be good.
But if I ran out,
that,
right.
then it could, do you think you would still know?
All right, so let me hit pause there real quick.
How much time does everyone have? This is a long-standing debate.
Yeah, this is the big one for us. So I'll give you my interpretation on how it sits in education, and then I'll let you guys decide what you think about it. In the context of a composition class, where we're literally teaching students how to write, I don't allow them to use these tools, because that's the rule of the class, to circumvent it, right? In digital humanities, in words and images, in any of my multimedia courses, I not only show them these, but encourage their use. Because my idea is that if you're gonna give me a paper, it seems very weird to me to tell you to use the least powerful thing to do it, right? It would be like if I said, you need to travel to New York, but you can't use a car. And people say, why? What's the point there? What am I learning from that? So if the goal was to teach them how to walk, then I'd say walk, right? Same thing with composition. This is gonna get into education, I'm sorry. I take an approach where I grade process, not product. So I wanna know what you are putting in. I don't particularly care what comes out the other end or where it was produced. If you have the wherewithal to write your own GPT prompt engine and have it write your paper for you, you're getting an A, because that's way more work than reading resources.
So it's almost like when, you're in school and you show your math, like how did you get to that? So it's kind of the same.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a raging debate over people, this is gonna destroy education as we know it, versus the people who are like, there's no reason you shouldn't be using this. Yeah, it's an ongoing,
So the new education is learning what to to ask and how to ask it.
Bingo.
So that it's relevant to what.
100%. That's the argument I make to all my colleagues, is that this stuff is here. It's not going anywhere. If we claim we're prepping people for the job market, hello, this is the job market. You know, so.
Well, it's like nobody knows how to do like long division anymore because we have calculators.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you just lose.
When was the last time I did long division?
I did. I learned it a long time.